Max likes this very much.
Welcome to
Coffee with Toffees.
five, four, three, two, one.
Let's do this.
Good morning and welcome back to Coffee with Toffees, guys. My name is Toffees, as always, bringing you the morning show here. And I'm going to start out by saying a lot of you know that I have a son who stays with me most of the time. And he woke up very early today. Normally he sleeps in, so he'll be joining me on the show. So if he does get a little bit grumpy, I ask you forgive me about that. We do have a short show today, so it shouldn't be too big of a problem, as he'll just be hanging out with me while we do the updates and the show. So that said, let's get right into the news, because there's not a ton, but we want to give you as much of it as we possibly can as we go forward with this thing. So number one, introductions. They're a must. It's how the show keeps going. If you like the show, you can follow me at Toffees_Dota2. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Toffees and choose to support it. We have the brand new coffee mugs, branded for Coffee with Toffees, available there, as well as support options. Anything from $1 to whatever you want to help keep the show up and running. You can also join our chat channel on Steam. It's coffeew/Toffees. Anyone is welcome. And we do viewer games and all kinds of things straight out of that. So think about joining in. That said, I also want to talk about a new idea that we had. I want to add a new top plays, a Sports Center-esque countdown style feature to the show. Whether that's 3 times a week or once a week, I'm open to suggestions. I'm looking for a video editor and a selection group, or people who are willing to help pick top couple of pro plays and have an editor who is willing to put those together so that we can run that on the show. It's something that I've been trying to accomplish for a while. We would really like to take a step forward with. So if you're interested or know someone who is, please get back to me on Twitter, or you can email me at 5MidasGaming. That's the number 5. So that said, let's talk about pro news. There's only one bit of pro news today, and that is that 4 Anchors has reformed. They basically put together a newer roster that fits better with what they're trying to accomplish. The 4AC roster is Valix, Trixie, Boogie, Neffy, and Matamba Man. So they are not calling it quits. They're just going to sort of reset, as Jerax has left the team and is joining Team Tinker. So it looks like they will put Boogie in the off lane role. Trixie will support for now, and the middle lane should go to the new pub star, who's joining up for the first time, Nemphy. And it looks like it will be a lot of fun. They should be an entertaining team to watch, if nothing else. We are seeing a lot of mid pub stars popping up on the circuit lately. So it goes to show that there is no harm in playing the big elite leagues and trying to get your name out there. Moving on. So that's the pro news. That's really all that we've had in huge team switches this week. It's been fairly quiet in terms of roster changes. That's not the same for tournament news. Number 1 on the tournament news roster is Team Empire wins Star Ladder Season 11. They take the win over Asus Polar, used to be VP Polar, who's actually, side note to say, I'm glad Empire won. Empire is one of my favorite teams to watch. They're frenetic. They're exciting. They're generally a really good time, and the finals match was a fun one to watch. Asus Polar, however, has really impressed lately. The D2L finish, followed by this second-place finish at the Star Ladder, shows me that they really have what it takes to step up as a premier Western team. Empire, by the way, went all the way through the winner's bracket without a loss. They went 2-0 against Fire, 2-0 against Navi, 2-0 against Ninjas in Pajamas, and they went 3-1 against VP Polar. So if you didn't think Empire could hang, they're certainly showing that they can, and this is a good time to start doing it, as obviously the TI invites are starting to be put on the table. So Empire stepping up and doing very well. VP Polar, or Asus Polar if you will, got knocked out early on after losing to Ninjas in Pajamas 2-0, but were able to not only come back through the losers bracket where they beat Fire and MVP Phoenix, but also went back up against Ninjas in Pajamas and beat them this time around 2-0 in their favor to make it back into the winner's bracket. So Star Ladder, interesting tournament because a lot of big teams dropped out, so it wasn't nearly what we expected it to be in terms of performances or big names in that tournament. However, it was still a lot of fun to watch. It was a good tournament, and it did result in some smaller teams, not the big dog these are tier 1 teams, but they're not as big as some of the ones that we're used to seeing out there, getting a chance to shine. That said, I also want to do a huge shout out to BTS. I think they did a great job on the panel. Coddle Guy especially was there at the LAN, was a staple, and did a great job of stepping up and looking like he belonged behind that panelist desk. So great job to Coddle Guy and the rest of the team who was out there for that. I very much enjoyed the coverage. So that is the Star Ladder 11. Next piece of news is that the JD MLG Pro League Season 1 has been announced. The team lists come out, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how the division format works. And I want to remind everybody, the sign-ups, if you want to get into their open divisions, ends today. So make sure you get your team signed up. So the roster for Division 1 of the Pro League is going to be EG, Fire, Not Today, Alliance, VP Polar, Empire, G-Guard, Invasion, and MVP Phoenix. Couple of names that you recognize, couple of names that you know are going to be dominant, and a couple of names that you think maybe why are they in the Pro League. And a lot of this comes from previous JDL seasons. EG obviously going to be the favorite to put high placement in terms of this tournament. Empire, another team that after their performance at Starlight I think should do very, very well in the Pro League. And hey, we always want to cheer for Alliance. And the brand new US team Fire has looked very good lately. I think that they can do it. They need to keep practicing. They need to keep putting it together, and this is going to be a great chance for them to show a little bit more of what they're made of. VP Polar, by the way, or Aces Polar, also in the tournament. So some heavy hitters, couple names missing, obviously. Secret, some of the other Asian teams that you'd expect to be there are not, and we'll see if maybe they choose to join up for the next season. Now, the format is interesting. That's what we talk about with the bracket divisioning stuff. So let's pull it up. Here it is. So the divisions are for Season 1 are Division 1 and Division 2, as well as the starting division. Starting division is open. 1,300 teams have signed up so far for the starting division. From what I understand, the way that it works is you can work your way up to Division 1. If you win the starting division, if you slug your way through 1,300 teams, you get to Division 2, which is made up of 30 teams. Those 30 teams will fight for a spot in JDL Europe's JDL's Division 1 teams, which are going to be the top 10. So that is a rough idea of how the formatting works. It's sort of like the Star Ladder system in a lot of ways, and it seems like it could be really exciting. As Season 2 rolls around, they will move out to a 6-division structure, and it looks like that's what is going to be consistent from there on. So right now is sort of the establishment of division rules. So what I would recommend is if you are interested in playing and possibly getting ranked up, even if you're a smaller team that says, hey, I'm tier 3, I'm tier 4, now's the time to sign up because it's open division with a ton of teams. And next season, they're not only going to put people in Division 2, they'll be establishing Divisions 3, 4, and 5, which are smaller brackets for a little more recognition, I guess I should say, and those will be determined by this season's qualifiers. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you get involved. If you're a North American fan, there's only 650 teams signed up for JDL North America, so that is going to be something that you probably want to get involved with if you're thinking about taking the next step. So check it out. Last day to sign up. That's the JDL League, and it should be a lot of fun in association with MLG. So this is going to be a big one. MLG's put the money into it. So if you're thinking about a tournament that can get you moved forward and that can really do some work, that's going to be the one. All right, next thing up, DAC, Dota Asian Championship format has been announced. Participating teams in the DAC playoffs. This is the first round. It's going to be on the 28th of January. It's wild card matches, basically. And what we're going to see is 6 teams battling for the 2 remaining spots in the groups in the group stages in a best-of-1 format. So participating teams are going to be Wings, Energy Pacemaker, HGT, Speed, Power Rangers, and Na'Vi. Could be interesting to see which ones come out ahead. Na'Vi is looking exciting, but HGT is going to be really strong, as will Power Rangers and Speed. So I'm curious to see who gets out of that. My picks for surviving that round of play is HGT and Power Rangers. Winners of that go into the main event. The main event is going to be a bracketed system, just like you see at most tournaments, double elimination bracket. Invited teams are Invictus, LGD, VG, Newbie, PvP, Rave, EG, and Team Secret. The qualified teams coming out of the American qualifier are going to be Cloud9, which will serve for a lot of controversy, that they didn't get a direct invite, but it is what it is. Hellraisers, Tong Fu, C-Deck, eHome, Big God, and the 2 wild card spots. So that is going to be quite a fight for those wildcard spots, and it means that everybody goes into the bracket on the same level, invited or qualified. So we shall see. I think it's going to be a great tournament. It should be a lot of fun. I wonder what kind of viewer coverage it'll get. The compendium is over $2 million. So there's a lot of money on the line. These teams are going to be playing to the best of their abilities. The problem we run into is it is not going to be a time that is really conducive to Western viewers to tune in. There will probably be a decisive focus on the Asian teams, being that it is the DAC. But we will have to wait and find out. I'm looking forward to the event. It's going to be a huge precursor to the TI5 run-up. So everybody keep an eye on that one. We will cover it as it happens. Next one's a smaller tournament, but definitely worth mentioning. Area 51 Alienware Cup takes place this week. It's a small 4-day tournament. From what I understand, it's meant to be fast and furious. The prize pool of $10,000. And the lineups are pretty interesting. What we're going to have is Alliance versus Pro. 4 anchors, the new 4 anchors, versus Team Tinker, Asus Polar, Ninjas in Pajamas, Team Empire, and finally the premiere of the brand new Meepo. Remember, that is going to be Hani, Pilot Eye, Excalibur, Simba, and Weeha, and that's going to be a pretty good team. They're making their big debut here on the Area 51 Alienware Cup this week. And I want to say this about the tournament. They had a great choice of timing. There's nothing else really happening this week. It's going to be very, very quiet. So a lot of people's frustration with tournaments at the moment is oversaturation. I can pull up my live games, track Dota, I can watch games constantly and not have a lull in things. This week there's actually a fairly big lull. It's a single elimination, 8-team tournament, 4 days and out, and they'll be done before the next round of big tournament games really start to kick up like DAC. So I think it's the right time, it's the right place, and it's the right format for a tournament like this. So tune into that one. We will follow it for you because I really like how it goes, and hopefully the fan support is there as well. Last piece of tournament news, but not least, the Canada Cup Season 4 has announced its return. It's going to have a $7,000 prize pool, and honestly, that's a huge increase. Last year, the prize pool was $4,000, so a big uptick in terms of prize pool. They're going to be working with High Ground TV again, is the casting group, and some of the names that you may know who will be playing in this tournament are going to be Fire Dota, Will Wreck Wall Whistling, Complexity Gaming, and Leviathan. So some top teams. Fire Dota actually probably favored to win the whole thing this season based on the lineups. So the teams are a little bit smaller in terms of tier, I think, but should be a lot more fun in terms of action. So Canada Cup, one of those rare tournaments that fit the North American viewer time frame, so a lot of fans of the show will probably also be watching the Dota 2 Canada Cup, so we'll be tracking that for you guys as well. But that's really it for tournament news and pro news. I appreciate you guys joining me. I do want to wrap up again by saying that if you are a programmer, and by that I mean an editor, somebody who likes to edit videos, somebody who likes to pick highlights from games, pro games, I'd like to put together a top X list. So whether it's top 3 or top 5, whether it's 3 days a week or once a week, is all up for negotiation. I just really want to have a top plays section on the show. And if you're interested in being involved with that project, you can tweet at me at Toffees_Dota2, or you can email me at 5, that's the number 5, MidasGaming@gmail.com. That's the official account for the show. And let me know that you're interested in coming on board for the project. So that said, one more time, at Toffees_Dota2. If you want to support the show, you go to patreon.com/Toffees and choose to support. Anything helps, whether it's $1, $5, or just some kind words. It takes a lot to get up and do the show and put it all together, and I appreciate you guys being here to support that and make it all worthwhile. And a big shout out from my son, Toffees Jr. Thanks for letting him join me on the show today. He is getting a little bouncy. And also, I want to say this, guys. It's currently, this is done as a Dota 2 morning show. There may be some changes. I'm going to keep the format the same. The name's going to stay the same because you can drink coffee any time of day. But there's a very good chance this will move into a sports center format in the terms of I can't guarantee it can be done in the morning every day due to the fact that my son is a evolving sleep schedule. And for instance, today he normally sleeps until 9:30, which lets me do my cuts without any issues. But he was up at 5, was it 6:30? It was 6:30 this morning, saying, "Dad, it's time to get up and do stuff." So that means it gets very difficult to make a consistent morning show. So we will continue to go with the 3-day-a-week format. Will it be by 9 o'clock every morning? not as likely, but I promise you, you will get your shows. We will continue to bring you the best in Dota 2 news coverage. My name is Toffees. As always, it was great spending the morning with you guys. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Play more Dota, and as always, Toffees out.